couple of great stretches that you can do at the house using a chair against the wall, but this is also something you can do on a golf cart where you can grab onto the cart and be able to push and pull. And we'll film that for another, for another day. But just using a simple chair, we're going to get through our hips. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go after my hamstring. I'm going to create what we call hip flexion. My stance leg is going to be straight toward the wall. I'm going to put this foot up against the chair, toes pointing a little bit, doesn't have to be completely back. My knee is unlocked, it's not bending, but it's not ramrod straight. Now from this position, I stand nice and tall, and you almost imagine if my pelvis was a bucket of water, I'm trying to dump the water out, okay? So what I don't want to see is this. I'll tend to see people in the true stretch doing this. Now if you notice, my pelvis is tipping back. All this motion is coming from my lumbar spine. We don't want that. So to get the hip to actually hinge, I just tip myself forward in this position. Now if you have a wall, if you've got something you can reach to, fine. If you don't, just try to stabilize yourself as best you can. Now once I'm in that position, I don't want to just stand there, I want to mobilize it. I can mobilize it just by gently rocking my hip back and forth. Or I could take my hand and I can just gently reach my hand across my body. Or if I want to lock this in and try to really make it a little bit more golfy, I can just bring this around. Next, what I'm going to do is going to go after the front of the hip. Now again, same stance. I'm just going to turn it back this way so the camera can see it better. Now, instead of my legs straight, I'm actually going to push this forward. Now notice my back foot is going to be straight. I even like it subtly turned in. And I'm trying to push this forward to get my hip to extend, get my calves to stretch. Now once I'm into this position, again, I can stabilize myself and I can just glide my hips around. I can make small circles, move it that way, or again, I can just gently drive my hands in any of the planes of motion. Now notice every time I drive my hands, notice how I'll rock back, and as I rock forward, I'm going to drive in that position. I'll come out of it and then move back in on any of these. Now to come in from the front hip to go at the groin, very similar. I'm just going to turn my foot out. Now from here, I can stay facing the camera and just glide. I'm going to get a big stretch inside the medial hip or the groin. Again, everything's in here. I can come in, glide the pelvis forward and back. I can slide it in circles in each direction, or I could take the hands and drive the hands like we did on the other one as well. And driving that. I can also take my hands, now since I'm squared to the camera, by just turning my shoulders back forward, I'm going to get a little bit deeper. This is called externally rotating of this hip. So now not only does the hip have to open up, I'm telling it I need it to turn out as well. And again, I can play with all of those motions that we just described. I encourage you to work on them, work easy. Don't force stretches. If you're in a stretch and you're grimacing, you're not getting much. Breathe in your nose, out your mouth. Try to relax into it. Try to just kind of gently start mobilizing those, and we'll start getting you to open those hips up.